Okay, so what we're going to do now is make the advanced finger rig. So what I want you to do is first go to the data tab and make sure that the shapes is turned off. So what we're going to do is make all these touch bones the children of non-deformed bones. This will give us the ability to let the user pose the bones individually, and then it will also allow us to add another larger bone where we can change its scale and cause these bones to automatically curl. So the way we're going to do this is go ahead and switch to edit mode, and over here what you want to do is click on the heads of these bones. Over here I'm going to zoom in and actually make sure that I click on this bone over here. Now here what you're going to do is press the E key, and now don't make them too big, but I'm going to actually just put them down kind of like this so they're easier to access. Okay, now go ahead and do the same thing here on these bones over here. I'm going to do control middle mouse button to zoom out a bit. Press the E key again. Now don't make it too big, and now just go ahead and push them down. So you have to look at the overall size for all the bones, right? Really, I'm looking over here. Now go ahead and do the same thing over here. Press the E key, and here I'm just going to kind of like put it like over here. Now here you can actually click on the tails of these bones. You don't actually have to get to the body. So go ahead and click on the bone tab, and you're going to have to make sure that the deform is unchecked for all these bones. Okay, so now what we need to do is actually align these smaller bones to these bigger bones. So go ahead and click on this, press the shift key down, click on this one, and just do Control Alt A. Okay, so you have to do this on all of these bones over here. This should be fairly easy to do. Okay, so that's established. Now what we need to do is sever the parent-child relationships for all the bones, and we're going to reestablish them. So go ahead and click on these larger bones first and press the Y key to quickly sever the parent-child relationships on all of them. Okay, so now we need to do the same thing for these smaller bones. So just go ahead and click these smaller bones and just click on the Y to sever the connections. Okay, now what we need to do is basically make these larger bones the children of these smaller bones. So here what you want to do is go ahead and click on this bone, click on this one, do Control P, and here you're going to do keep offset. So you have to do this for all of these bones individually first. Okay? And do keep offset on all of them. Okay, so now what we need to do is if you take a look at this bone over here, just press the G key, you'll see that it does not have a parent. So what we're going to do now is make this larger bone the parent of this bone, right? So they're all basically connected with parent-child relationships. So click on this small bone, press the shift key down, click on this larger bone, do Control P, and here just do keep offset. You're going to do this on this bone and this one, do Control P, and do keep offset, okay? So we're going to do this again on this one and this one, do Control P, do keep offset, this one and this one, do Control P, and do keep offset. And lastly, over here, we're going to do the same thing on these guys over here. Do Control P and do keep offset. Now you want to make sure that you did this right. So here you can click over here. You can see that there's our parent-child relationship over here between all of these bounds. Okay, so I'm going to click on all of them, and I'm going to make sure that this is done right, because it's very easy to mess this up. Okay, so that's done. So now what I want you to do is just think about what we've done here. We've made this bone, right, the child of this bone, and this bone is the parent of this bone, while at the same time this bone is the child of this bone is the parent of this bone, right? So it just keeps going down all the way over here. So that's how this is going to be done. So now if you switch to pose mode, you'll see why we did this, right? So if you, let's say, click here on this bone, which is the parent of this bone, and press the R key 2 times, you'll see that it makes the child move, which is, of course, the touch bone. That's the idea over here. So here, this is what you want to do. You want to click on each one of these and just make sure that this is working. Okay, so this whole thing is set up. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and now switch to edit mode. We have to go to the data tab and of course press the shift key down and turn on these non-deformed bones. So what we need to do is now take these bones which have the parent and make them really the children of these bones. So click on this bone, click on this. You're going to go ahead and do Control P and do keep offset. Okay. Over here you'll see that this might be a little tricky, so what you want to do is actually make sure you click on the touch bone and press the H key to hide it, because you want to actually make this apparent. So click on this, do Control P and do keep offset over here, and just do Alt H to bring this back, right? This is because that bone is on the touch layer. Just do A to deselect everything over here. Okay, so now here we've gotten this established. Now of course what we need to do is now name these bounds. Okay, so these are not going to be touch bounds, they're basically non-deformed bounds. So here what we're going to do is first click over here, look at this name, and just say we're going to call this m.f.index. Now this is not going to be a touch bound, so here I'm just going to type in dot 0. Actually we're going to call this auto, because that's what it's going to be used for, dot 03.l, and enter. Okay, so we'll just use the word auto in there. You'll see why that is in a little bit. So here I'm just going to do Control C to copy this, click on this one, click inside, do Control V, and now change this to 2. Okay, so we're basically going to do the same thing for all of them, right, with their correct names. Okay, so what you want to do is basically click on these bones just you've named and make sure that you did this correctly. Okay, so what we're going to do is go under File, do Save As, and let's save this as rigging lesson 04 u.blend. Okay, so what we're going to do now is go ahead and zoom in over here, and what you want to do is really just click on any joint, it doesn't matter, and just press the E key to extrude out a bone and just park it right here where the tip of this finger is. Okay, go ahead and do the same thing over here. Put out a bone just like this. Now the alignments don't matter because we're going to align these bones in just a second. Okay, now go ahead and make sure that over here the deform is unchecked. So we're going to use these bones to really scale them and cause the fingers to curl. Okay, so these again are just going to be our touch bones. So first what we want to do is actually click on these bones and press the Y key to sever all the parent-child relationships that they have and just reestablish them correctly. Okay, now what we want to do over here is make sure that this bone is the child of the palm bone. So click on this, press the shift key down, click on this, do Control P and do keep offset. Click over here, click on this, do Control P and do keep offset. Click on this, click over here, do Control P and do keep offset. And it's the same issue over here. You might want to click this, get to the palm touch and press the H key to hide it. Click over here, press the shift key down, click on this, do Control P and do keep offset. Okay, you have to visually look over here that what I'm showing you, how the relationship is being established. Now what we need to do is align this bone to this bone over here, right? It doesn't matter which finger bone it is because they're all aligned. So go ahead and click this, click over here, do Control Alt A, it will align. Click over here, click on this, do Control Alt A to align. Click on this, do Control Alt A to align. Click on this, do Control Alt A to align. Okay, now go ahead and save this file and I'll see you in the next lesson. Thank you.